Hey, everybody. Welcome to Paranormal Zone TV. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. And we have part two, the shocking conclusion with Phil Siracusa, his true story. If you missed part one last week, the link to that show is underneath this video. You need to watch number one. It's absolutely fabulous. And tonight's going to be an absolutely fabulous show. It's gonna blow you away. I am so excited. So tonight will be the shocking conclusion of Phil Siracusa's show. Now, this is a story about Phil Siracusa, who has experienced both supernatural and paranormal activity on a regular basis. He is the owner and the author of the Horsefly Chronicles home in East Pennsylvania. Phil grew up in a home of 8 in Staten Island, New York, and through adolescence has experienced dark shadows, spirits, demons from beyond. It wasn't until later years he started to experience his gifts connected to the other side. Today, Philip shares his wisdom and knowledge that paranormal phenomena does exist and helps others in search of answers. So, with that, let's welcome Phil to the show. Thanks, everybody. Hey, Phil, thanks for coming to the show. I'm so excited about tonight. I can't wait for you to share your story. Now, I'm showing the viewers the book. This is the book. It's The Family Cabin, and it's based on Phil's true story. And this can be purchased at Barnes and Noble. So, Phil, do you want to start the show?
Oh yeah, just one correction. So the author of that book who helped me with that book is Christina Corsetti. And I'm going to get into how she got involved and was brave enough to write this with me and tell everything I went through. So, hey everyone, thank you again. This is part two. Tonight will be the conclusion, the mind-blowing part of my life. For those of you who've been following the Horsefly Chronicles home for years and Norene show, thank you. It's been a long time in the waiting, and we had to get it all together with all the knowledge and all the people in place to get the evidence that we had to throughout the years. So I'm not going to recap from last week's show. I'm just going to get straight into it. I remember a part of my life was the 1970s. And again, my father had purchased a property upstate New York. That is the family cabin picture in Accord, New York, that was there. And I remember I was about 9 years old, 10 years old, and I was in front of the cabin. And I remember seeing these orbs come from the sky, these big circles. But not only, and I was alone playing in the front yard. Now, there's so much property, and I'm playing alone, but I'm looking at these orbs, and I hear children speaking. And I get this friendly feeling, like I'm welcome, like I'm not alone. And it's kind of like it's not only me in the front yard or my family in the cabin, my mom and dad and my siblings, but boy, there must have been like 7 or 8 of these orbs that were, and I would say they were children because of the voices that were coming through telepathically. And I'm looking around and I'm observing everything. And I'll never forget that. That was one of these parts of my life that still, again, I'm 57 years old, that still resonates today and gives me the goosebumps because I felt like I was part of them somehow, and they were part of me. And it's weird because as life goes on, it's like a puzzle that we put together that we try to understand. Every one of us has a life puzzle, and it's some of us. I guess I had the time to try to dissect what's actually happening to me throughout the course of my paranormal activity. In 1993, I was with a friend in Florida on vacation, and I go into this dream. And in the dream, I'm upstate New York on the property, and I'm walking down this long gravel road that my father had put, because it was about a quarter-mile drive from the main street just to get to the cabin. I'm walking, and then I turn, and there's uh, John Rose is with me in the dream. And he was tall and thin, and I'm talking to him like, I don't know how I'm seeing you, but I'm seeing you. He goes, yeah. He goes to me, Mom's mad. I'm like, what? That you dug up the grave. She's not going to be happy when she comes here to see you. And then with him comes all these other people. And I felt like these were the children from back in the 70s. And I'm just trying to, and I'm walking down the road, but John Rose himself was a really nice guy. But I was afraid to see, um, I guess, his mother, because I tampered with that grave, or his grave. So I was scared. And I remember now we went into the nightmare, and I'm trying to toss and turn and get myself out of this nightmare. And I did. And I woke up the next day telling a friend, like, this dream was just too real. I seen the guy that I dug up. It was a year ago. And I didn't feel right. It felt like he was nice, but his mother wasn't very happy with me. Well, now I'm going to fast forward to 2020, October of 2020. We had true ghost stories here at the Horsefly Chronicles home in Easton, Pennsylvania. Again, I'm going back and forth a little bit. I'm going from the 70s to the present, and it'll make sense at the end of the show. And I had true ghost stories here because, well, we didn't remove anything that we thought were removed, and I wanted to see what was going on. Now, when they came here, one of the weirdest things happened during a paranormal investigation that I've ever seen. So part of their team was in my garage setting up, and the other part was in the backyard. And I'm with the team, the part of the team that's in the garage. And I remember someone's talking through the walkie-talkies. They're listening because they have these like walkie-talkies to communicate with each other, to see what's going on, whatever kind of evidence they were getting in the yard, and vice versa. And on the walkie-talkie, male voice comes through and says, "Can you come outside right now?" And then one of the paranormal investigators goes, "Well, can you come inside? Because we're recording." So they go, "Sure, I'll be right there." So no one comes. And then a minute later, one of the investigators comes in the garage and says, "Were you calling us on the walkie-talkie?" And they go, "No, why?" This is because, well, you called us to come in the garage. When we called you to come out of the garage, like, what are you talking about? This is, well, you said to come outside. We heard you. What was actually happening was that the spirit, I've never seen this before, was actually using the walkie-talkie, playing trickery as a device, that their voice came clear as day through, as if one of the teammates on the paranormal team on True Ghost Stories. So then they just took notes on that, and then we're in the living room. And we're in the living room, and this man comes through. Now, the man was dominant. He was nice, but he was very formative. And he was kind of like, "We're watching you. We know everything you're doing." And the lead investigator was a little nervous at this point, because it was like not only a dominant, but more of like a type of a threatening voice. But this wasn't a voice that I heard before. So it was different. It was like someone else is part of this whole party. Then I hired, after they got their evidence and they left, I hired a private paranormal investigator in Pennsylvania. Now, I hired a guy who was an old timer from back in the 60s, who did not work with anybody. I wanted to see if this man would capture anything alone. He works alone, he's well known, and he comes here. And what he does in my basement is he sets up all these REM pods. He sets up about 6 or 7 of them in a line. So basically, it's from one part of the basement to the next, and I'm at the end of the basement with him. And he says, "Phil, I've been investigating here. I had him on the case for like a month." He goes, "I've been getting children coming through, and I've been getting the word cabin, and I've been getting mom, dad, I'm getting a family." So then he says, "I'm going to try to communicate with you here tonight to see exactly what we get." So he says, "Okay, if there's one of these children that I've been talking to, can you make the REM pods go off?" Well, I'll tell you, Norene, and the viewer out there that it was the first REM part at the end of the basement, then the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth, right up to our very feet where he had them lined up. And he looked at me and I looked at him, and then it goes backwards the opposite way. Now, I don't know how much evidence you need in paranormal investigating. There's no scientific explanation behind what we were encountering. And then he
Phil,
started to play
Phil,
recordings. Yes,
can you tell the viewers what a rampart is?
it's a device that lights up based on questions that you would ask the other side. So it's if you ask something, this thing would light up. It's got like a lot of circles. It's a circle device, and it's interesting. So basically, it's like a lot of little lights that light up at the same time. That gave me chills and him chills. But what he did say when he wrapped up investigating my home alone was that there was a family that died. The family, there was a lot of children, there was a cabin involved. And he wasn't not sure of one thing. He wasn't sure if that family lived in Pennsylvania or a different location. So that was interesting, and that was in 2020. My wife, myself, my family, we continue to live with it, and we know how not to provoke things, as I said in the previous show. And then it was 2022 came around, and I says to my wife, you remember that I was on a show, I says to her, years ago, back 10 years ago, in this lady's show, who is an author, a paranormal investigator, and she's not far off from where we live. Maybe we could reach out to her and see if she could help me with all this, because I try to make sense of everything. So you have to remember, to the listener and the viewer, that at that point now we had, again, 52 paranormal teams, psychics, mediums, remote viewers, Wiccan, shaman, priest, reverend, deacon. We've had it all. We've had, as I said previously, NESPR here, who has the Annabelle doll. They came here and did a thorough investigation. So we reached out to this lady, Christina Corsetti, and I started talking to her through Messenger. And I was on her show like 10 years prior. And I was like, can you help me? Because I see that you have books out. I see I was on your radio, and I'm trying to discover what's going on in my life and whom I'm actually dealing with in my home. So we talked verbally on the phone and then through Skype, and she says, I'll help you. I says, I want to write a book. I want to tell people, but as we're writing the book, I wanted to see if we could discover what's going on here in this home. So what was interesting is that every night I would be on a Skype with her or a video messenger and explain to her what was happening in my home. And I'm going backwards now to the 70s. And as I'm doing this, you can feel something is around watching. You can feel this presence around. And as you feel the presence around, she can feel it, and she lives in like 3-4 hours away from us. And in Massachusetts, in Salem, Massachusetts, she lives at this point. So we're communicating back and forth, and we're doing this book every night religiously. And she was a hard worker every night for months on edge, trying to get my story out there, written down, and trying to have it discovered to make sense what's going on here. Tonight, for the very first time, to the viewers and the listeners, and those that have been following the Horsefly Chronicles case, well, here's what we know. We know that the paranormal phenomenon does exist in the home and other locations. We do know that I have a spirit attachment named Sarah, who's followed me from the 70s. I just didn't know because I was too young. But I would see the apparitions in the lake, upstate New York, as described on the previous show. And throughout the years, she made her presence stronger. And I felt like later on, she wasn't a threat. She was actually helping me. But there was something else that may have been around her that may not have been as good. But she always conceded to be that person that would give me the correct information. She was also the person that contacted another person in Staten Island through a Ouija board that I didn't even know, Leah. And Leah knew everything about me up until she came to my very home, my family's home in Staten Island. Sarah introduced me to my wife today, Julia, in a major nightclub in Staten Island, New York. I was pushed in the back, a girl spills over a drink, and that's my wife today. Sarah always wanted to be born. She always gave me the correct information and was helpful. Some of the things I did may not have been the best, and other things I have done were to help people get information they were looking for. So tonight, to all of our friends out there, this is years in the making. First, we're going to show you some evidence and video clips. And then tonight, for the first time ever, we're going to give you the evidence that was found and discovered that will not only be a mind blower, but it will raise your eyebrows and make you think about life itself. I'm just a family man. I'm a grandfather now. I'm here to tell the world that what I've discovered not only helps me, but helps people think of their futures and their generations going forward. Tonight, Norene, thank you for having me, and you can start the evidence.
Absolutely.
And as you're going through the clips, I'll wait about 30 seconds for me to catch up on my cameras and then describe each video.
Do you want me to do that now before you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that now. All right. So, all right. Now this one, the first one I'm going to show Phil, I call it the highlight. And this one is, let me go to the video. Oh, okay, hold on. I don't want it to play yet. Phil, this is the one with the toy in the downstairs room with your son. Okay? Hold on, I'm gonna play it.
Please,
Okay.
spirits, can you play the piano or make the dinosaur go off or move a pool ball or flicker the light down?
Oh shit.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
People cross over and the spirits.
Oh. I don't think he likes that.
No, it does. So,
Oh my God.
That's a good sound.
thank you so much.
It said bye.
I have a couple of.
No.
No, it's not.
Stop. We're listening.
Can you? Let me ask you a question. It seems like you're able to use things through electronics. Can you?
When that video's done, I'm going to
Please?
describe it, so let me know when it finishes.
Spirits,
Whoops. Okay, I think it's done. Wait a minute.
can you play the piano or make the dinosaur go off or move a pool ball or flicker the light down?
Oh shit.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
People cross over and the spirits.
Oh. I don't think he likes that.
No, it does. So,
Okay, we finished.
That video that you've seen was a toy dinosaur. I've seen some of the things. It sounds like a dinosaur because it is a toy dinosaur. So here's exactly what happened. A couple days prior, we had a ministry come to the home. This was in 2015, and they had Wiccan and shaman here, and they blessed the home, the outside, the property, and the inside. They did everything perfectly. In fact, they also did a deliverance. They felt like I needed a deliverance, and one of the investigators that were in the home at the time needed deliverance. And then I felt this thing leave, and they felt it. So there was about 12 people here. I mean, what they did was they had every religion and background and every practice to remove what was here because they heard about this case. Well, 2 days later, I had an office in the basement, and I had to go down there. And this was this might have been a Monday night, and my kids have a toy dinosaur was on the floor. So I hear it go on, making that noise like rawr. And I thought I bumped into it, but I kicked it by accident. So then I'm about 3 feet away, and I turn around, and I'm looking at it and it does it again. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I go into my office, I come out a couple minutes later, and then the dinosaur goes on again and off again. And then I hear my wife screaming on the third floor, saying that the lights are flickering. And at the same time, she's telling me this dinosaur's going on and off again. And I'm like, wait a second. Then I see a shadow come into the basement. Now, Norene, I know we don't have time tonight, but years ago, you did have one of your people that worked with you capture the actual shadow coming down the stairs, the Hat Man, the time that dinosaur was going off. Maybe you don't remember it so many years, but you actually had someone do that. I have that photo somewhere. It's a man coming down with a hat man from like back in the 1800s. You could tell like that hat design, and one of your people caught it. So I got that dinosaur, right, to toy. I put it on top of a slot machine, and I told my kids, get your cell phones ready and start recording. And that's what you see. It was communication on response. But what actually also happened is that the TV on the second floor went so loud. Like, how's that possible? Because no one's on the second floor. And everybody says, can you lower the TV? And it lowered the television. Okay, so I'll wait for you to do the next
Okay.
video.
Okay.
Boy, I have chills. I came and watched that video of that dinosaur. It still gives me
Oh
chills.
my God. I love watching it. I can't, every time I watch it, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing how it responded to you. It's crazy. That isn't the paranormal. Well, then what is the paranormal? All right, hold on. All right, so this is a video of the orb in the garage.
For many, haunting a home.
And it comes like from the garage door, and then it comes out toward the camera, and it goes up.
A home. For many, haunting a home.
Okay. I finished.
Okay, so what you see is a orb caught on surveillance, home surveillance. That is the same orb that was caught by over 20 paranormal teams on picture through video and still photography. It goes through walls. I can't explain everything. It's as if material objects don't exist to an orb, and orb goes right through it.
Okay. Your land is, it's not built on Indian territory, is it? Indian ground, your house?
Well, the land, I'll get into that later. We'll go
Okay.
into that, yeah.
All right. Let me go to, now this is number 2. This is a video too. It's two orbs at the same time. And one actually looks like a flying saucer when it comes out. And it's playing now. I'll play it a couple of times. It starts in the back, and then a second one comes up. Looks like a flying saucer, and they shoot up to the ceiling. And it looks like it's in a room with a fireplace and a sofa. Okay.
So in that video, that's again caught on home surveillance. Remember, that was the same living room that I talked about 10 minutes ago when True Ghost Stories was here, when we felt like there were 2 people in that living room communicating. And in that living room, it's very active, and the spirit doesn't come alone. Sometimes it comes with another partner, for example, and that's what you're actually seeing.
Yeah, I never actually, I've seen all kinds of videos on orbs, and I've never seen one quite like that, where it comes out and then another one partners up with it and they shoot out together. I've never seen that before, Phil. That's a first for me. All right, so now we'll go to number 3. Okay, this is an orb in the kitchen. Boy, is that strong. It comes through like by the refrigerator in the back by the sink, and then it comes forward and then out into the wall. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, that's actually the portal in the basement, the room where all the activity started
Okay,
in 2013.
okay.
Now, can you play
Fine.
that one again
Yeah,
and still, can you do a still shot of that? Because there's something in there I want to show
no,
you.
I can't still it.
Okay.
Hold on, hold on. No, I have no way of doing that because it's on a play. Do that one more time. Yeah, I can't still it. I can just keep replaying it. It'll just loop. It just loops, comes out of the ceiling and comes forward. What did you want me to stop it for?
Well, in that actual picture, we um, stopped it and sent it out. And what you actually see in the actual picture of that orb is an upside down cross.
Okay, let me see if it. No, I can't stop it.
That's
Sorry.
okay.
All right, so we just did 4. All right, let's go to 5. All right.
Can you talk
Whoops.
really loud into this red
Okay.
light?
Come on, stop that. All right, this is a male investigator talking to Sarah.
You want to play a game? Can you talk really loud into this red light? You want to play a game? Can you talk really loud into this red light?
I can clearly hear her.
She's coming from the far distance of the other side of the house.
Can you talk really loud into this red light?
Oh, yeah.
That was the night that Paranormal Challenge was here. And part of the team was in the basement and part was in that living room. And just to give a quick backstory on that night, what you're seeing was a night that
You want to play a game?
Do you want me to turn the audio down on that while you talk?
no, you could turn that. Yeah, I'm gonna explain that night.
Yeah, I'm turning the audio down. Go ahead.
You want to play a game?
So Paranormal Challenge came here, and they questioned whether this was a real haunting or not, and there was a lead investigator, and well, basically I went Facebook Live to introduce everyone. There was like 5 or 6 of them on the team, very nice and nice people and all that. And there was a female investigator. Now in that living room, and another clip, I don't know if we have that clip. I don't know if I sent it to you, but the lead investigator told the female investigator to stay in that living room that you're looking at on video alone and talk to Sarah. Now, on home surveillance, the female investigator, this was discovered like a month after they were here, disappears for 12 minutes, and then she reappears. So when I reached out to the lead investigator and I said, your investigator disappeared on maybe it's a glitch, and he says, I don't want to talk about it. Well, unfortunately, she disappeared, reappeared for a reason. And unfortunately, again, I can't get too far into it, but she's not alive today. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not saying that it's tied to anything. I'm just going to leave it as she should have never been left alone to investigate in that living room alone. That's it.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, she's sitting um, uh, right by the fireplace. You could see like her feet or whatever. You can see a little bit of her sitting there.
You wanna play a game?
Okay, let me go to number 6. I'll turn the audio up now.
Can you talk
That's really a
loud
good
into this red
catch.
light?
All right, so now we're going to 6. Okay, 6. Okay, this is the front door opening on command.
Oh, no, that's the what you're about to show is that's not the front door, that's the living room.
Oh, it looks like a front door. Yeah, it's
Actually,
opening.
that's the den. That's the den.
The den, okay. Yeah, opens on command.
That was the night Paranormal Challenge was here, yeah.
Look at that. That's amazing. Oh, I love that. That is amazing. Okay, so number 7. Okay, this is the orb that follows Julia. Now I can see it. I saw it when I downloaded this. Let me see if I can enlarge that to see if everybody else can see it. You can see the orb. It follows her going up the steps. Okay, I'm going to enlarge this. See if we can see it. Should loop. Okay, there it is. Then it turns around. Oh, we can't see it on this one. When I was downloading it, I saw it. It actually followed her up the stairs. That's creepy. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of our videos. Okay.
So these are just some, yeah, so basically, again, that clip is, you know, um, they come in an orb, they manifest into a apparition. Through the apparition, you see a dark shadow, depending on who was coming through. And then if there's a digital recorder, an authentic digital recorder, and you start asking questions, you'll start to get responses. Maybe all the responses don't make sense,
Phil, can I
but
just stop you
most
for a
of them
second?
do.
Uh,
Yes.
just about couple of seconds ago, I saw something behind you. It was,
Oh,
uh,
there's definitely something in this room.
well, it was weird, but it went like it was just like for a second. Did anybody see that behind Phil on his left-hand side? The mirror was there. I wasn't looking, but it caught my eye that there was something behind you. I don't know if anybody else caught that. Okay, go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
Yeah, so how I feel right now is I feel like I'm not watching or doing the show alone. Um, but that's my life. So this is just a fragment of evidence. God, there's so much evidence out there, but this is a fragment of tonight's show, what we wanted to show you. Now, taking the evidence, and if you watch the first episode with Norene and I last week, and you realize that Sarah is a big part of my life. Some people say she's the devil or a demon, a ghost, a girl, a woman. Some people see her in a white dress like I did back in the early 90s at my mom's home, with dark hair, white complexion, high cheekbones, dated back to the 1800s. As the author, Christina Crossetti, is helping me write my life story and experiences in this home and from where I grew up, my family and siblings, we realized and discovered with the knowledge of the author and other people involved and myself that what you're about to see and witness is mind-blowing, chilling. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you the evidence. And as we show you the evidence, I'm going to explain everything as best as I can. So put your seatbelts on, everyone. Norene, take it over. I actually have more chills now because this is crazy.
Okay, all right, Phil. Which one do you want me to show? The Sarah's family, where she has her and her family unlisted underneath? Is that, do you want me
No,
to?
no,
No,
let's show a picture of John Rose.
Don Rose. John Rose, here we go. Right here, let me get rid of this other one. John Rose. Yeah, I got John Rose. But this is a picture of him.
Yes.
Okay, what else do you want me, what next do you want me to show?
No. Let's hold it there.
Okay.
Let's hold it there. This is the person who I seen in the dream in 1993. Nice guy. He was a nice guy. This was the grave this was his grave that was dug up in the early 90s. This was the man that people have seen at the Horsefly Chronicles home numerous times. Now, I wish we had it, but everyone look to the right of the pitch. Well, that would be his left. You see the top hat?
Yeah.
Well, that was the top hat, the same looking, because it had that height that someone caught on that dinosaur going on and off. That's still shot, but again, it's 10 years ago. So, but I do have that picture coming down the stairs.
Oh.
So the teams have said, who's John Rose, without even knowing who John Rose was, and I wasn't putting it together.
Okay. What do you want me to show next? Jacob's, John's kids.
So again, now everything happens for a reason. Our life was designed for us to research and do certain things, whether we like or dislike it, whether we believe or don't believe, and whether we try to understand, and maybe sometimes we just don't get it. Well, I get it now. My wife, Julia, and myself, with discoverable evidence, are part of this family that you're about to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they? I don't think they understand. Do you want me to keep going now? Do you want me to show Sarah's, Jacob's
Yeah,
11
sure.
kids? All right, here. So this is a list of Jacob's kids, and I can enlarge it. Okay, okay, so let me enlarge this for you. This is Jacob, Rose, and Sarah, and this is, hold on, you guys. This is their 11 children. Can you see that? Almost blew me away when I saw this. John, Mercy, Catherine, Elizabeth, Philip, Polly, Julia, Margaret, Henrietta, Levy, and Reuben. Philip and Julia. Do you get it? Philip and Julia. Okay. Enlarge it so they
Now,
can see that.
this would explain when back in the 70s, when I was in the property in front of the cabin, as I was explaining at the beginning of the show, how I seen these orbs and I was hearing all these children come through. And I felt happy and friendly with them. Well, we're part of the Rose family, my wife and I, and Sarah was trying to tell me that. And that's how Sarah pushed me into the back in a nightclub and I met my wife. So you can go on to the next picture.
All right, the next one is Sarah's family. This is Sarah's family. And I'm going to show you, okay, this is, okay, this is, I'm going to enlarge this. This is Sarah's family, who was married to Jacob. And this was her immediate family listed here. Jacob, the husband, and lists the 11 kids. Again, Julia and Philip are Sarah's children. I don't know if they understand that yet or not. Just enlarged it, Phil, so they could see that.
So when in '93, when John Rose says, "Mom's going to be mad," in the dream that you dug up the grave. Well, now I understand why. Back then, when you were buried in the 1800s, people were buried on top of each other. I think it might have been like there were wooden caskets, about like 3 or 4 caskets right on top of each other.
Right, so the next, okay, well, oh yeah, what I want to show is, well, there's a picture of Philip, with his grave and some writing. Let me enlarge this, Phil. This is Philip, and it says, it's Philip Rose, Caroline Powers, Jacob son. I don't know what all that is. Oh, I guess those are his kids, huh? And then
Yes,
it's Philip over there. Okay, and the son of Jacob. Okay,
yes,
and that's his grave.
yes.
Okay.
So remember, I was talking about again all the children, seeing them in the early '70s upstate. Well, so there it is in the lineup.
Okay. Right, so next, this is Philip. It's the federal census. And Philip Rose. All right, let me, I don't know if I can march this. This is the census that they took. Where he was age 17 too. Oh, you have it underlined, but it's kind of hard to see. Are you the one that underlined that in pen? That's hard to
I
see.
don't have that. Those documents were no, I don't have those documents. That was through
Oh,
Discovery.
oh, somebody crossed something out and then they
Yeah, that was through
highlighted.
Discovery.
Okay, this was the census of Philip. Then,
Again, it's hard to make out, but I guess where we're going with this is we're all part of the same family. And this is why I was brought to that grave. This is why my father bought the property. You don't know. There's no sequence to why certain things happen. It just happens. And then you discover at the end of your life, as your time's going by, like, why is this happening? So then Philip Rose and Julia Rose. And then this is why we kept going back to the grave and why I was so fascinated with the grave and so fascinated with communicating with John Rose and why Sarah in the first episode was communicating with a girl in Staten Island in the '90s named Leah through the Ouija board because she wanted her to know she knew everything. She was watching me. Now, anyone who has been watching this throughout the years, these were the final discoveries that took place.
all right, so I'm showing them now Philip and Julia and their immediate family. Now I can enlarge this. All right, so this one is Philip Rose. And I guess these are all his siblings. And then there's Julia Rose. Philip's on there. Okay. Then the next one. Now this is good. This is Mercy M. Rose, and tell them this is from the first part 1. So tell them about Mercy.
Would you able to? Okay, so there we go. Mercy was the spirit that communicated through the psychics in Staten Island, New York, and New Jersey that was coming through. And she's part of the family tree.
Yes. A psychic told you that her name wasn't Leah. Remember, when she met up with you, she said, "My name is
Yeah.
Leah." And then you saw a
Yeah.
psychic, and the psychic said, "No, Phil, her name isn't Leah, it's Mercy." And that
Yes.
that is so unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So what actually happened was when I met with Leah, and then we, as I explained in the first show, we went to go eat. In the book, actually, it's in the actual book. She had explained that she had pictures of orbs, and this was part of the family. And she went into it. And again, you have to go through the book to see exactly where this is going, but she was connected to us. Very mysterious, but it goes to show you whether people believe in reincarnation. Well, as a paranormal investigator, we don't believe in coincidences. We believe in factual information. And if we can get the information on top of the haunting, on top of who's Sarah, now we understand why.
And then the last picture is the historic home, the Yelverton house. That's pretty cool. It's a historic home. How did they make it historic?
Oh, I don't know. But
That's
that's the actual house that Sarah lived in. Sarah, who's part of this whole case.
okay. Well, this is amazing, but you didn't come out and tell them that you're a part of the family, but
Yeah. So my wife and I met for a reason. Now, one of the things about the Horsefly Chronicles when Sarah was coming through on the board also is that she had always stated she wanted to be born into the physical realm. It's kind of like, now that I understand it, it's kind of like I was the one who could bring her back into the physical realm through the spirit form. She obviously never came back, but she's there in the spirit form, and very strong, by the way. Very, very strong. We have her voice. We couldn't play it on tonight's show. It was too late, but we actually have her voice on a recording. It was one of the very few times that her voice was caught, clear as day. And she goes, "Let me do justice, watch." And this was September 2015. So the discovery has been made that my wife and I are part of the Rose family.
well, you're
Why was
reincarnated.
so
You and Julia
reincarnated? Yes.
you're the reincarnation of Philip, and Julia's the reincarnation of Julia.
Yes.
That's why you are so
Yes.
connected to that
1000%.
family. And Sarah is
Yes.
attached to you.
Yes.
It's crazy. I mean,
It,
this
it's mind
is
blowing.
it is. It's mind-blowing. When you sent me, you didn't even say anything to me, but when you sent me that some of that information and I saw your name under Jacob's as part of the family and Julia, I said, "Oh my God, they're reincarnated." It came to me immediately.
So Sarah pushed me in the club to meet Julia so she could be reincarnated into the physical realm.
Now, okay, so this whole thing started with you and the Ouija board by what you
Well, the
did.
whole thing actually started before then. It started back in the 70s when the grave was tampered with. But again, now we understand why. It wasn't really in the bad way. It was a rediscovery of ourselves. And in one of the videos I sent you, but I sent it too late. There's all these little stones, and back then in the 1800s, they were carved in with all these names. I talk about the children I seen in the 70s. Somehow through these orbs, I was listening to them, and they were actually happy every time I would go upstate to the family cabin for my adolescence. It's because it's a family reunion.
I wish I need a URL. I did put it on my phone, but I don't think they'll be able to hear or see it. Um, I have earphones on, so I won't be able to hear it. Um, and so I don't think they would be able to hear it. I mean, I have it on my phone, but I can't even hear it. See.
Been part of the family
Yeah.
for
I
years.
can't see it because
There's
of
a lot of history about John Rose. And other items that were buried over 30 years ago. John Rose is believed to be part of the Horsefly Chronicles case, along with some of the children that may have died in the 1800s. This will be the last time that this grave will actually be seen in stone. I will be story soon when I do get back to the Horsefly Chronicles home about the stone, its history, its grave, and all the other little stones around here. So back then when people didn't have money, I don't know if you can see, but there were pipes in the ground. So we're going back to the 1800s with this land. Again, this is Accord, New York. This is an ancient cemetery that has a lot of ties to the Horsefly Chronicles case, which I will be explaining sometime later on this week. And the power that John Rose holds within the Horsefly Chronicles home, as well as other entities. Those that have been following the Horsefly Chronicles case know about John Rose and the activity that has happened with thunder and lightning and everything back from the 70s, but tampering with this grave. Once again, I want to say thank you for watching this, and I will give a further update.
I wish I could have done a better job on that.
No, that was good, Norene. I seen that really good.
I
And
couldn't get
basically, I did that. My father was selling the property in 2017, and that would be the last time going to that actual grave. And that was the grave that, again, if you watch the first show, the Ouija board is buried there. I'm part of that whole family, my wife. And since that came out good, Noreen, is it possible to play the other two little clips that I sent you?
Let's see. How did I?
Because that
Well,
was pretty good.
I can't because I have to download it. To download it, and there's like 4 steps to downloading that. I can't bring it in. The only way I could do it is if I recorded it. But then I don't know if that would work. Okay. I'd have to go over. Look, I don't want to get hit with a copyright. You better check your on your studio. Release it if I get hit. Let's see. I got to go to Facebook. It was on Facebook. All right, let me. Let Well, let me see. Um, there's that. Uh, All right, you know what I could do? Well, I could take my camera off, I guess, but I won't be able to see what's going on. Do you want me to, how long is this? A minute? Okay, do you want me to
No,
record?
no, like 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
Do you want me to record it?
Well, I sent it to you through Messenger.
Yeah, I
Can you just
know.
play it?
I can play it.
Yeah. And just hold the phone up to the camera.
Let's see. Let me see if they'll be able to hear it if I play it. Yeah, they should be able to hear it because it's right here. All right, let's see. See if they can hear it. I don't think they can hear it. You can hear it, but I don't think they can. It's not connected to any audio. Were you able to hear that?
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, yeah, I know, because it's not
Okay.
connected to any audio. Oh, there's no other way I could do it. Even if I put my camera up there, they wouldn't be able to see it. The only way I could do is record it and play it back on my phone. Um, yeah. Do you want to talk to them and you want me to do that? It's up to
Yeah,
you.
sure. I think that would be great. Yeah, sure.
All right.
So basically, I'm asking Norene, the one time that Sarah's voice was caught on a recorder back in 2015, I want you to actually hear the voice of Sarah. And then one of the videos was one of the paranormal investigators that were at the location talking about communicating with Sarah. So, having said that, this is the
Oh,
tie-in.
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, so this is the tie-in of the Horsefly Chronicles case. So I'm sure like some people may have questions, and it's a lot to absorb in such a short period. But when you look at the whole picture and see what we've come up with, it's quite frankly amazing.
All right, let me keep talking to them, Phil.
Okay, so let me get out there and talk to some people. Um, for those of you questioning again whether paranormal phenomenon does exist, it does. And we can communicate with spirits. And just sometimes spirits are trying to communicate with us for a reason. And it may not just be a haunting or something scary. Maybe they're trying to say, hey, I got something to tell you. So, you know, listen to the signs, watch what you're doing, and especially paranormal investigators out there. Um, and it may sometimes may not be what you're looking for, but you may get the evidence later on in another investigation. It may not be that actual spirit you're trying to communicate with. So we've documented many of recordings and videos. We have over 15 years worth combined, and we had the best of the best paranormal teams from around the world come here to Easton, Pennsylvania, the Horsefly Chronicles home, to help us research, understand, discover that the other side does exist.
Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, stop. All right, hold on. All right. So I just recorded it. So let's see if I can okay, guys, hold on. I just recorded this off of Facebook. All right. Now if I go ahead, let me turn these lights off. If I can turn these lights off, maybe they can. Well, I don't want to break my light. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's getting. And can you guys see that? Can you see that, Phil? All right.
I have a
Okay.
delay, so let me see. Yep.
All right, hold on for a minute. Let me fix this. All right, let me put it in front of me. All right, so I'm gonna play this.
So this was a paranormal investigator at the Horsefly Chronicles home in 2016 who formerly worked at St. Albans.
Oh, what happened? That's weird. It's not playing. It video. Oh my God. It didn't record.
That's okay.
How could that be? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. No, didn't work. Sorry. Sorry, Phil. So you want to take questions, Phil? They have
Yeah,
some
let's take some
questions.
questions before we wrap it up. And again, I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, watching the show. If you haven't seen the first show, watch the first show so that this show actually makes sense. Yeah, so let's go ahead and see if we have any questions out there
Okay.
before we wrap this up.
Okay, guys, you want to start posting your questions, but put them in caps so I could read it. Go back. Somebody had a question a way back. Oh, oh, yeah. Tallcross, of course. Phil is coming back in next year with another amazing story. Um, there's no end. I mean, I can have Phil on every night of the week. I mean, there's no end to his stories. They're unbelievable. But the next show we're gonna air is gonna be really awesome. I'm so excited about it. And Phil, you know which one it is.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So we have a question. Were you were drawn to the grave? Do you think you were picked ahead of time, specifically chosen?
Most definitely. Most definitely. It's kind of like the ancestors wanting me to rediscover myself and them. Yes.
Any other questions? Come on, guys. Any other questions? Any other questions for Phil? Any other questions, guys? Put it in caps. Yeah, Aaron. Sarah is an entity. She's a spirit. She's tell them, explain to them. Eric doesn't know. Explain to them, Phil, what Sarah is.
Well, um, as John Rose said to me in the dream in 1993, as I seen him on the property, really nice guy, friendly, we're walking down the road. When he says, Mom's going to be mad, I wasn't getting it in the dream. So obviously, Sarah and Jacob Rose had children, and we're part of the family tree. My wife, Julia, which we showed you in the obituaries, and myself. This is why Sarah had a strong connection to the home, but she wanted to come back into the physical realm. And we've discovered that through having paranormal teams here and recordings, people doing various techniques to see what she exactly wanted, and she always wanted to be born. But let me put it out there like this: Sarah's very powerful, and she's a protector. Some people will say, "Well, what about the haunting of the Horsefly Chronicles home?" Do you remember those two orbs that was shown in the video clip? Well, Sarah would always say, the paranormals would catch that. I have to go now. The bad man is coming. The bad man is coming. So it's kind of like the spirit realm where, let's say we have rivals in the physical realm. In that realm also there's rivals, because in this particular home there's always been a guy who calls himself chief. To the question also, follow me on this, everyone, through discovery, again, we don't have a 5-hour show tonight, but through discovery in the actual book, that's not my book, it's Christina Crossetti's book. The home that we live in is built in Easton, Pennsylvania. This whole land was Euless Farm. Before Euless Farm was the Iroquois Indians way back in the day. The Iroquois Indians lost a battle here. There was a lot of bloodshed. And this would explain how some of the pictures that we have, not shown on tonight's show, but other shows that we did previously, you would see pictures that look like false face masks, where the Indians were trying to scare off their rivals. But Chief Sullivan was a part of this Indian tribe. We believe he's the one who dominates the land. I don't know if he's good or bad, but he seems to be a controller of a lot of things, because through a lot of evidence that was recorded, again, through teams that came to the home, he would give demands on recording to the investigator what to do and how to do it. And he would say, be careful of the words you choose. I am in command. I am chief. So yes, if people ask me, well, was this native? There's no native stones here, but between the Forks and Delaware River were the Iroquois Indians, and you could look that up. We actually did all the research already. It's in the book, or you can go through archives and see that.
All right. Sylvester wants to know, Phil, do you still let people into your home?
Unfortunately, we don't. As I explained earlier in the show, when Paranormal Challenge was communicating with Sarah, and they left the female investigator alone in the living room that Norene showed the clip, she's no longer in the physical realm, the investigator. There's legal ties to that, so we don't get into too much depth, but we stopped all investigations here. It's kind of like what was part of the land is always part of the land, will always be part of the land. Whatever my attachment was will always be part of my attachment. It's just that the two worlds collided. You're up at night, 2:00 in the morning, you'll see apparitions come from the corner of your eye that are unexplainable. And it's not one or two, it's multiple. We had Chris Moon, Denise Garcia here years ago, validating that there's some kind of a vortex in his basement that's not visible to the eye, but through recordings and through various types of equipment. So we've done our research, we've done our due diligence to realize that we're dealing with two worlds, this house and the land and otherworldly things.
Mary says you should contact Dead Files to check out your home.
I don't think Dead Files isn't even in existence anymore.
Yeah, they are. They got somebody else doing it. I never watch it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not interested. Oh, they were canceled? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they were still on. Let's see. No, son, he's not going to be doing any, and you're not going to be doing any more investigations, are you, Phil?
No, 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 no. That's over for the safety of the investigators and us and our family. Some things don't want to be tampered with. Some things don't want to be removed, and we should respect that. We learned and respect their boundaries and our boundaries.
Okay, I don't see any more questions, Phil. Was a
I
really
want to thank. Okay, so I want to thank each and every person watching tonight. If you again haven't caught the first episode, capture it, and then you come to the second one, so it all makes sense to you. And then if you go on, boy, there's videos I did with Norene. We did Horsefly Chronicles experiments back in 2016, where we had people around again through different states communicating with Sarah, and you'll actually hear the communication.
Yeah, I have a playlist of the Horsefly Chronicles, and also I'm going to put together a playlist. I mean, we've done like 8 shows, Phil, and the one that I really loved is when Solomon in that book Goat. I don't know how to pronounce it. We did a show on that. That really was a great show. Um, I need to put a playlist of all those videos because the shows I aired with you are some of the best. They really are. You're so knowledgeable. You know so much about this stuff. It's
Yeah, we
amazing.
live it. We live it, and we had to prove it to ourselves and the world that this does exist. And here we are finding out that we're the reincarnation of the Rose family. I'm going to try something really quick before we wrap it up. I
Okay.
want to see if you can see the video that I'm. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to play the voice of Sarah. Let
Oh,
me know if you hear it. Okay.
okay.
So let me just tell people what's going on. In 2015, my wife is recording my youngest son. It tells him to hit record, and then you will hear a female voice say, "Let me do justice. Watch." And that's the same voice that was caught by a Paranormal Challenge if you watched the previous video. So let me see if I can go ahead and do this.
Okay.
Hit play. Let me do justice. Watch. Sounds like a girl. Go ahead, go. Hit play. Let me do justice. Watch.
Did you hear that?
Sounds like a girl.
Okay.
Noreen, did you hear that?
I hear two voices.
Let me do justice. Watch.
So when you hear "Let me do justice," watch. Did you hear that?
Okay, yes. Yes. Now
That's
who's
Sarah.
get out of here.
That's
Play that
Sarah.
again. Play it again.
So my wife says, "Go ahead, hit play." Just tell my son to go ahead and hit play on the television. And then the voice comes through of Sarah, "Let me do justice. Watch." So I'll play it again.
I played again.
Go ahead, go. Hit play. Let me do justice. Watch. Sounds like a girl.
And my son goes, "That was a girl."
Go ahead, go. Hit play. Let me do justice. Watch. Sounds like a girl.
Oh, yeah.
There's Sarah's voice.
Wow. You know,
You heard it, right?
yes, yes. Yes, we could
I
you
want to
guys
see
are
also, since you heard that, maybe
Hi, my name's Crystal.
I want to see if you can let's see if I can get this thing. If you could see this. Let me know if you could see this. Give me 1 second here.
you guys heard that, didn't you? If I could hear it, they could hear it.
Investigator at St. Albans in Roscoe, Virginia. I'm here at the Horsefly home.
There you go.
And
Absolutely.
when I first walked in, I felt a lot of, heaviness in my chest, and then a lot of activity like going around me. I had different feelings in each room that I walked in, and then we were in the basement, and we walked towards the portal, and it was actually it was really strong. And then right now, I don't know if you can see or not, we have something that's wanting to be acknowledged, and her name is Sarah. And I have been using the Ouija board, and I've used that pretty much pretty much since I was really little and was able to do it, but like a lot in the past 6 years. We've learned a lot of different things about Sarah. We've done experiments, and she has definitely proven herself. I actually have a lot of them on Facebook, and then we could post them to YouTube later. Tonight we're gonna try to do some more experiments in the portal with the Ouija board, and this house is just amazing. And we have figured out a lot about Sarah and her story. And the more that we figure out, the more that we'll be able to share with you guys. But she is actually not trying to cause any harm towards anybody, and she wants her story to be told. So that's what we've been working very hard on trying to accomplish.
So basically, what she said, this was a paranormal investigator from St. Albans in 2016 in the basement of the Horsefly Chronicles home. Did you hear what she said at the very end? Because we didn't know all this discovery stuff back then. Sarah wants her story to be told.
Yeah.
And now we have her story.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up because I have to go. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this episode. And
I'll see you back
Norene,
next
if you have
year.
any last words before.
No,
Yeah, we'll see you next year.
Next year with a fabulous. There's more to Phil. There's more to Phil that you guys don't know, and we'll bring that to light next year with another show. It's going to be awesome. It's crazy. He has everything he does is mind blowing. So I can't wait to have you back, Phil. So yeah,
Thank
have
you.
a great evening, and I'll see you. Happy Thanksgiving as well, and I'll see you next
Happy
year.
Thanksgiving. Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
And for anyone who's watching this, you could type in the Horsefly Chronicles on YouTube. That's just one investigator out of dozens who have communicated with Sarah. Some you may even know. Thank you, everyone. Good
Good
night.
night, Phil. Good night. Oh God. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. It's always a pleasure to have Phil on. I mean, I really, I've known Phil for over 10 years, and I've done some absolutely fabulous shows with him. I mean, oh, he's really good. So, thanks so much for joining me tonight. I want you all to have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Um, I hope you'll be with your friends, with your family, and have a good time. So let me see. Don't forget, if you haven't seen part one was really good, and this one really, yeah, they're reincarnated. Julia and Phil are reincarnation of Sarah's children, and I was so shocked when I saw that. Oh, well, let me do some shout outs, okay? I want to thank my mods, Renee and Terry. Chip and Terry, thank you so much, girls. I love you. You guys, I love you so much. Thank you for always being here with me. You always have my back. Thank you. Now let me do some shout outs and to Tallcross, my buddy from Scotland who stays up wee hours of the morning to watch the show. Thank you so much for always your loyalty and being such a good friend to me. And so let me do some Aaron Brody. Aaron, I didn't know. Hey, man, you never said that you were a medium, that you had some powers. I never knew that. So I want to say hi to Aaron and Deck Magnet. Thank you. Tall Cross always. Sun. Lori Miller. Thanks too for asking your questions for him. To Phil, let's see, Lori Miller, Deck Magnet, Ethel Mertz. I love that name, Ethel. I love that name. Um, Zen29, Sylvester Staton, Mary Richard. No, oh Renee. Oh Renee, you're not in the United States. I forget Australia or New Zealand. Oh well, think about us. I'll when I cut my turkey, I'll think about you. Okay. Um. Karen Piotti, Andrew and the Gnomes. Andrew, I still haven't heard from you. We could do a Sunday show one of these days. Um, Anybody else in the chat room? I don't think anybody else is in the chat room. We had a nice crowd tonight. Did I miss anybody? I think Lolly Tubi was in. Lisa Scarrett was in. Mary Richard. Thank you guys. Anybody? Thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for joining into the show. Hey guys, would you give the show a like, and also just stop by after the show and just make a comment, say hi or something underneath my video. I really appreciate that. Let me know how you liked it. But don't forget, the link to the first show was under here. The first one was really awesome as well. But finally finding out the real deal with Phil and Julia, it makes sense. Why would Sarah, it just makes sense with Sarah. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna go. Again, have a wonderful Thanksgiving to those who celebrate, and I'll see you. I have a show coming in December. I don't know which guest I'm gonna bring on. I'm only going to do one show for December because I'm going to be really busy. I got 24, 25 people coming for Christmas, and I have a lot of work to do. So I'll do one show in December, and I have several guests I have in mind, and I'll make the event when I make up my mind which one is going to come on. Okay, so I love you guys so much. Always. Oh, there's Lola Tubi. Always thank you always for joining us. And if there's any suggestions you have for shows, um, I do my best to bring you good topics that I like as well. So love you guys. So I'll see you next time. Love you. Good night.